But $750 in taxes 2 years in a row is like what a person who earns $10,000 a year or the minimum wage would end up paying. So come on, he has all these millions and billions of dollars and he's paying what a dishwasher would pay, or a clerical, not even a clerical worker. I mean, so basically what this means to us, and he increased the number of loopholes that people like him experienced in 2017 with the tax bill. So there are more and more loopholes for wealthy people, not so many loopholes for the rest of us. It's hypocrisy at its greatest. Now there are some who say perhaps he legitimately lost money by taking all these deductions and such. But every other president has paid. The Obamas paid, 6 figures in taxes. The Bushes paid taxes. What makes him so special? Well, I'll tell you what makes him special. He's avaricious. He's greedy, and so he's avaricious. But the other thing about these taxes, the New York Times really breaks it down. So as an example, he's paying consultants. His daughter was one of his consultants. Was he transferring income to her, or did she actually do work for him? Since she was also being paid. So there's lots of contradictions here. He deducted the cost of his haircuts while he was on The Apprentice. Again, is that legit or not? There are lots of gray area here. Many people who are in politics say that even if they don't owe the amount of tax they pay them because it's good leadership. Because you want me to pay taxes, but you don't? It's just good leadership. So there are lots of red flags here. But for the American people, it really means that before November 3rd, we need to demand some answers. Now, I know that there are these ride or die Trumpies. They're ride or die. No matter what he does, as he said himself, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I could get away with it. Well, is that the case? And we think it might be. There's some people who they're still in his corner. But I think your basic working class to middle class person, regardless of whether they support 45 or Biden, has a lot of questions about this. It's a lot of questions.
Indeed. And you talk about the haircuts, and you talk about, paying consulting fees to his daughter. How do you explain all of these things? And more importantly, let's just, look at the amount of monies in licensing fees that he's paid to countries such as India, okay, the Philippines. If this is true, and these reports are found to be truthful, where do we stand as far as a president who owes money, who's in debt? He's in debt.
He's in serious debt, and that really raises questions about whether or not foreign governments can influence him. What if someone walks up to him today and says, look, man, I'll give you $100 million if you fill in the blank? Well, if he owes $400 million and someone walks up to him with a $100 million check, he's probably going to jump through the hoop for them. Even if he's not elected, he won't be, I pray he won't be reelected. But if he's not reelected, he still has all kinds of secret information, intelligence information about the United States. In 2 years, I think it's a year or 2 years, he's got to pay that $400+ million. Mm-hmm. How's he going to do that? Now, he has used the office of the president as a cash cow. We already know that. If you look at the Trump Hotel, which lost money, but many foreign governments staying at the Trump Hotel, emollients, conflict of interest. He tried to get the G20 to meet at the Doral, the hotel that has the golf course. Again, right. Conflict of interest. And only when Congress started making noise about it did he decide that he wasn't going to do it. But both the Trump Hotel and the Doral place, the hotel with the golf course in Florida, both of them have been losing money. So this is this amazing business person who's losing all this money. Only thing he basically makes money on is, as you said, licensing his name, allowing people to use his name. He doesn't own all these hotels. He lends people his name. They pay him a licensing fee for his name. And you're right, he's got hotels all over the world, but they're not his. He gets the licensing fees. He wants to get one in Russia. And now we're beginning to wonder exactly what his relationship, I mean, we've always wondered, what is his relationship with Putin? But now it becomes more and more clear that it may be a pecuniary relationship, that they have something to do with money. So yeah, any American who pays taxes ought to be very skeptical and angry about this. But now again, he denied, he said, there were mistakes and he's being audited. Well, yes, he's being audited, but others who've been audited have released their taxes and said, this is under audit. Now this is another interesting one. He got back $79 million for a tax refund.
Right.
And now the IRS is saying that he might not have been entitled to it. So that's part of the audit. If they decide he wasn't entitled to it, he'll have to owe them back that $79 million plus interest, which could add up to as much as $100 million. So essentially, not only has he cut all kind of deals for his buddies with the benefits to rich people, but it looks like he's cutting all kind of deals for himself. Now, furthermore, the commissioner of the IRS is a federal appointee, is one of his appointees. So, I'm your boss, Traci, and I tell you, I need you to cut these corners for me. And you say, can't do that. And I said, well, I do sign your checks. And you say, can't do that. And I said, well, I can always find somebody else to do this job. And you might do it. So one wonders if the IRS is slow walking him because, they answered him. Well, actually, the IRS answers to Treasury, Mnuchin, and Mnuchin answers to Trump. But, Mnuchin and Trump are freaking frack. And so if he said to Mnuchin, I need you to get rid of that IRS commissioner, he might do it. So there are just so many questions that are raised here. And, it's amazing to me that we've let this go so long.
Indeed.
This should have been something that Congress should have been on top of from the time that man was elected.
And go ahead. I'm sorry, Doc. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No. I was just putting my phone on silent.
And to your point, I do not think that many of us are surprised by this. I think for me, I'm just alarmed the amount of money, the little bit of amount of money that he did pay. I think that's alarming to me. But I do not think that any of us are surprised about the behavior because we have seen this movement happening. We heard the reports, clearly the reports of him filing bankruptcy. There were red flags, there were alarms all along.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But my question is, the American people, how can we put a stop to this? How can we stop this?
November 3rd, you vote. November 3rd, you vote. That's really there's nothing we can do right this minute. The accountability comes on November 3rd. I mean, when he's out of office, he can still be sued. The IRS can still try to collect from him. But right this minute, he's shown his contempt for the rest of us by $750.
Right.
$750. And so this ought to make people more energized to vote on November 3rd. And that's the only thing we can do, is get him out of there. Just get him out of there. I mean, people are saying, well, a lot of people are not that excited about Biden. There's an enthusiasm gap with Biden.
Okay.
People who like Trump are going to vote for him, all fours. People who like Biden, some of us think he's a bit old, which he is. Some of us think that he's not as progressive enough. But you know what? He's pretty good. And he picked a Black woman as his VP. So that's something for us to celebrate. And more so than that, he's on every issue that we think about, he's 10 times better than Trump. Imagine, we're in the middle of a pandemic. 204,000, I think, Americans have died from COVID.
Indeed.
Disproportionately Black and brown people. Now, in the middle of a pandemic, he's trying to basically reverse Obamacare. People need their health insurance more than ever, and he's trying to take it away. He's nominated a woman to the Supreme Court who has written that she thinks that Roberts made a mistake when he sided with the liberals on the court and upheld Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act. It's the Affordable Care Act. And so she's written that Justice Roberts made a mistake. When she's confirmed, because she will be, they have the votes, unless 3 Republicans grow a conscience, which is unlikely. But if they've got the votes. So when she's confirmed, this is going to come up. It comes up actually, I think, a week after the election. They'll be hearing arguments. Now that they won't make a decision, or they won't announce a decision until the spring, So people may have another little 5 or 6 months for health care. Get all your checkups now, because by that time,
Mhm.
it may be gone. But this shows the gross insensitivity of this man, that in the middle of a pandemic, which he has bungled badly, he also wants to, he's attacking healthcare. But there's a book called Dying of Whiteness. It's a really
Okay.
good book. It talks about the white people who need healthcare but still support Trump. So they would prefer to have him than to have healthcare,
Right.
no matter what he does to them. So that's the premise of the book, dying for all the folks who need healthcare. And I remember after the 2016 election, there was a white couple from West Virginia. And he was a coal miner who had all kind of diseases because of coal mining. And his wife was taking care of him, and they basically were covered under Obamacare. And she said that she could not vote for Hillary. She was going to vote for Trump. And the reporter said, well, what about, the fact that you depend on the Affordable Care Act? And she said she didn't care. So, and you saw her husband sitting there coughing, coughing, coughing. And she said she didn't care. She was his primary caretaker, but she didn't care because she wanted Trump more than she wanted to be healthy.
And that speaks to so many of, that's his base.
Yep.
Hence, that's his base. And that is what's so alarming, that if we are not careful, President Donald J. Trump will be back in office. And all of this information that we have coming forward will just continue. I just, for the ordinary person, such as myself, for the ordinary person, we have to pay our taxes. Listen, if I didn't pay my taxes, I would lose my house. I think it's called a lien. They put a lien on your property, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they do. Okay. I believe your wages.
Yeah, they can garnish your wages. They can garnish your wages.
These are things, right? You see where I'm going. These are things that happen to ordinary people such as myself. So when we're talking about ordinary Americans, like you just said, $750 in taxes is equivalent to someone who's making about what, $10,000 a year?
Yeah, like the minimum wage.
$10,000 a year, minimum wage, $10,000 a year. I just, it's
I don't even know
alarming.
how they could come up with a number of 750. Somebody, where did that number come from?
Where did that number come up? Where does the number come up with? And let's just really look at this. He's not working alone.
No.
He's not working. He's not working alone.
He's got accountants. He's got others who basically are supporting him in this, or at least giving him advice. But what Michael Cohen said in his book is that he ran for president as a marketing opportunity to market the Trump name, because he had The Apprentice went off the air. When The Apprentice was on the air, he had enormous not only name recognition, but it kept coming back up. The Apprentice, I watched it once, I think, when Omarosa was on there, but I mean, which was some time ago, but it was his brand. You're fired. That was his brand. But the further away you are from the public eye, your brand value goes down. So his brand value was going down. And why not run for president? He didn't think he was going to win. He thought that his name would be on everybody's lips. This gives him another opportunity to brand some more golf courses, brand some more hotels, and his value will go up because people are talking about him again. No, he didn't expect to win. He just expected to make money. But now he both won and is making money. So
and you talk about the African American woman, the Black woman, Senator Kamala Harris. Let's just look at her taxes. According to the report, she paid $516,000, $516,469. Okay. Bernie Sanders, $343,882. Elizabeth Warren, $268,484. Joe Biden, Vice President Joe Biden, $3,742,974. That's according to the report 2017. Look at these numbers. I just need you to look at these numbers. You look at numbers every day.
750 versus 3 million, 750 versus 300,000, 750 versus 200,000. I mean, these are senators, they've got books out there doing stuff, and they're basically paying their taxes, which is what they're supposed to do. And meanwhile, the president of the United States, supposed to be our leader, well, somebody's leader, role model, etc. He, first of all, wouldn't release his taxes. So the Times did a great job of tracking this information down. But then, the Times always does a great job of tracking information down and releasing it in a very thorough report that has stunned everybody. I mean, I think that people knew that he was underreporting, that something was wrong, but who knew that he would pay as little as $750? And again, this is a man who's gone around the country, around the world, bragging about what a good business person he is, but all of his ventures are losing money.
Losing money, hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging
is right. Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Even the money he made with The Apprentice. I said he made some $400 million roughly with The Apprentice and has spent it all up. So let's start with the beginning. He always talks about being a self-made man. No, we know for a fact that his dad gave him, not only did his dad give him money in the first place, but his dad had to bail him out time and time again. That the whole Atlantic City fiasco, I mean, he lost lots of money with Atlantic City. But what we also know about Atlantic City is he cheated small business people out of money that he owed them. Man who made pianos. They ordered 5, the man delivered 5, he paid for 4 and told the man to sue him. Now, this is a small business person who probably didn't have the resources to go up against the Trump enterprise. Then look at all the money he stole from people with that Trump university. This man is just basically a scam artist. I mean, president scam artist, president grifter. That's what he's a grifter.
But people came forward. People came forward before he was elected. They came forward and nobody would listen. Well, I shouldn't say that. We listened, we knew. People came forward, particularly for that Trump university.
Some people didn't. People who listened got it. Hillary got it. She talked about it during the debates. But there were people who wanted to believe him because basically you'd had a black president. Okay? You had a black president. Now you have a white woman running for president. White men are sitting there saying, what about me? Then you get the whitest of white men who's on record discriminating, on record talking ugly about Black folks, Latinos, other people. And that speaks to the base nature of the Trump supporters. They are happy when he talks smack about poor people, about people of color, about women. They're happy about that. I mean, what self-respecting person with a daughter would vote for someone who says, grab them by the genitalia? If you have a daughter, when you say, excuse me now?
Excuse me, right.
So he has packaged himself as very attractive to the working class white man who's afraid of diversity. That's the fear. The fear is of a black planet. The fear is of diversity. The fear is that their white men are becoming a dwindling part of the population and they're afraid. And so I'm hoping that some of these white men will pay attention, but some of them aren't. These guys who go from Black Lives Matter rally to Black Lives Matter rally with their guns, trying to start stuff with Black people who are simply exercising their First Amendment rights to speak, they are committed to Trump. And when he says things like the looters, when he says looters, they identify with that. Even though, what we've seen in some places is that the looters are white people who have infiltrated the Black Lives, not the movement, but they come with their masks on and they make it look like Black folks had done it.
Dr. Julianne Malveaux, I just want to say thank you so much for just breaking it down for us. Again, this is nothing new. We knew this was coming. We knew it was here. I think just the numbers are shocking to us. And then on top of all of this, the president then applies and collects the PPE money.
that so many small businesses, especially Black-owned small businesses, did not get or could not get. So
Could not get.
We've lost 40% of our Black-owned businesses. We've lost 40% of them because of the pandemic. Black businesses tend to have fewer reserves, don't have the credit that some other businesses have, and we're losing businesses. We're losing all businesses, but we've probably lost about 15% of all businesses, but 40% of Black-owned businesses. So disproportion. When you look at hospitalizations, we're 13% of the population, but we're almost a third of the people who are being hospitalized for COVID because we have more complicating factors, more of us diabetic, high blood pressure, all of that. And more of us live in crowded housing. More of us live with a lot of other people. So Absolutely. One of the things, that we know is that the closer and more people you have around you, the more susceptible you are to COVID. So, I'm blessed. I live by myself. I don't even let people in my house.
Yeah, my sorrow. But you bring it home, and you just make it really, really, you break it down for all of us. And I just want to end on this note. We are on the eve of the first presidential debate that is happening tomorrow.
Yes.
What would you recommend that Vice President Biden do? How does he handle the tax story, this breaking news? How does he handle it on that stage tomorrow?
Well, first of all, he should make sure that he addresses it. Chris Wallace should ask the question because he's the moderator. But if Chris does not ask a question and anything that comes up with money, Biden can pivot to talk about the tax situation. Mm-hmm. So if someone asks, what do we think about the economy? He can say, blah, blah, pivot. And by the way, my opponent did not pay any taxes. He talked, so he can pivot. The second thing Biden really needs to do, he has to come out, he has to be strong and forceful, but he can't get angry.
Right.
He can't get angry.
Okay.
Because of 45, he's gonna do a lot of trash talk, and some of that trash talk will make anybody angry. But Biden can't get angry. If he does get angry, he needs to keep it in his vest. But he has to be forceful. He cannot let any point go unanswered. I think that's the main thing. He needs to talk about the tax situation. He needs to talk about unemployment. And he needs to talk about the coronavirus and the fact that our economy will not bounce back until we fix this coronavirus thing. People are not, I'm a lady who likes to eat out 1 or 2 times a week.
Me too.
No more. If I didn't cook it, I'm not going to eat it. Because there's data that says that people who eat out more are more susceptible to the coronavirus.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Well, it makes sense. We are out in the community, clearly. So we have to change the way we do business. And again, that goes back to the point of the small businesses, the closing of our small businesses cannot function, cannot survive. And it goes back to, I'm going to end on this number because this is the number that's got me in shock. $750. $750.
That would be a pair of Melania's shoes,
On that note, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, America's economist, we thank you so much. My sister, global thought leader, thank you so much. We hope that you will come back to the Lit Lounge. We need you. We need to hear from you because we've got how many more days to this election? How many? About 30 something now. The countdown is on.
Maybe 40 days. It's not even 40 days. It's like 30. No. It's like
30 something.
37, something like that.
So we've got work to do. That being said, I just want to end on this note. Clearly, we still need to get to make sure we are counted in the census before we even get to the polls. November 3rd, please,
you got two
friends
days,
and family.
2 days to do your census reform. The census, I think September 30th, they're closing it down a month early because they don't want us to count. You can go on census.gov, and if you don't have a form, you can do it online. Make sure you get counted. But then next, plan your vote. Plan your vote. Don't wake up on November 3rd and say, oh, what's up? First of all, polling places have changed. You know, they've consolidated some of them. Some of them have changed. So you can't go where you used to go, church basement. Go online to figure it out. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you're registered. And if you don't want to get in line and do all that, get your form. You can take it and hand it back. You can put it in the mail. But if you put it in the mail, please put it in the mail before October 20th, giving it enough time. You know, giving it enough time to get there, because the post office clearly has slowed down. You know, the courts have said they can't change the operations, but they're going to do what they're going to do. And Mr. DeJoy, Trump's buddy, who knows nothing about Reagan, you know, I mean, this has been, like I said, this is grifter city. Any crooked person that he knows ended up with a federal job.
Wow.
Traci, and on that note,
35 days left.
35, thank you.
35 days and 4 hours and 25 minutes.
Okay, Miss Clarissa, you got it going on.
She's got the counter going. And on that note, we want to say thank you for being in the Lit Lounge. Thank you for bringing the literature, the knowledge, the wisdom, so we can make the right decisions. But we are very clear. At least we're clear on the decision that we need to make. And we're clear that we're going to run, skip, walk, whatever we got to do to get to the polls to make sure that we vote, and make sure that we bring somebody along with us so they can cast their ballot. Because this right here, I'm gonna end on $750, the equivalent to someone who has earned $10,000 for the year. Now I want everyone to look in the mirror, look at yourself and say, not another day. Not another day. Not another day.
Make a change, Traci.
Change.
Thanks, Traci. I appreciate it.